Report showing that September was a turning point for demand, with the Fed's rate cut driving the best data for pending sales and home tours in months. Joining us today is Redfin's CEO Glenn Kelman. Glenn, always good to get your intelligence and insight on this stuff. What did you see in September?
We saw an improvement at long last. We had seen interest rates fall in August, and homebuyers had almost no reaction because they were waiting for the Federal Reserve to cut rates. That finally happened, and now many people who had been on the fence are coming back into the market. It's not a tidal wave, but it's a real swell.
I was going to say, we've seen some other, for example, we got an upgrade of Home Depot the other day. They did a survey asking homeowners or home buyers who have been waiting to buy, what's the magic number in terms of the rate that could get them off the sideline? Where do you think that number is?
Well, already we're seeing more people come off the sidelines. So home buying demand is up about 10%. Purchase applications are up about 10%. So there's been a market increase. And every time rates come down further, we'll see more. This rate cut was probably too late in the season to have a major impact on 2024. But I think in 2025, many home buyers are going to say, game on.
So in light of that, Glenn, what is it going to take to see more meaningful levels of inventory hit the market? I mean, rates coming down is certainly one piece of the puzzle, but what else needs to kick into gear here?
That's the right question. And on that front, I don't expect to see much progress. We're talking to many people who are rate locked. They got a mortgage at 3% or 3.5% a few years ago, and they still can't afford to buy their own home. 2.5% of American homes changed hands in the past 12 months, which is a 30-year low. So on the inventory side, we are still going to be crimped, and that is going to be the gating factor for home sales in 2025. Maybe we'll go up to 4.5 million from a low of 3.9 million this year, but it isn't going to be 5 million or 6 million because there just aren't enough people who want to sell their home.
So I want to ask you, because you haven't been on since this change went into effect, but I do wonder what you're seeing in terms of industry dynamics since that brokerage industry practice, those changes actually came in August.
Well, it's a tale of two markets. There are places where there hasn't been much change at all. So if you go to North Carolina or New Jersey, almost all home buyers agents are being paid about 3%. But in other markets like San Francisco or Boston, there are significant negotiations taking place. Part of it is that homes are just more expensive there, and so people are asking their agent for a better deal. So it's been market by market. Some of that's just about how hidebound the market is, and some of it is about how high the home prices are. But increasingly, listings are being put on the market where the seller says, what I pay the buyer's agent is negotiable, and multiple offers may come in, one with a fee of 3%, one with a fee of 2%. All else being equal, they're going to take the offer that only has to pay 2% to the buyer's agent. So we're going to see more activity in the spring. That's when I expect more bidding wars, and that's when I expect more pressure on fees. Right now, we're just going through this trial period, and in some places there's negotiation, and in some places there isn't much.
As for rates, Glenn, the market's counting on continued interest rate cuts all the way through the first half of next year. And I wonder how good you think the spring could be if, in fact, that happens. No guarantees, or whether or not activity surprises us in the offseason.
Well, I think it can be medium good, but as I said, it can't be great because there's still so many homes on the sidelines. There's not going to be a rush to list properties. Usually when we go through a housing market correction, we correct the problems that we had. So in 2008, there were too many people underwater on their mortgage, and then we saw a wave of foreclosures and short sales. But this time, the inventory shortage hasn't been addressed, and I think it's going to be a long-term problem. It's a 30-year mortgage that many people have, and they're only 5 years into it. So I think the market can get better, but it's not going to be like gangbusters next year. And there's still some inflationary pressure, especially if the longshoremen go on strike. So better days are ahead, but we're not out of the woods yet.
All right. Well, they are on strike. We'll see how long that strike lasts. Glenn, interesting data as always. Appreciate it very much.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, coming up.